I'm not familiar with that one.
All right. Let's see, Mercury at greatest latitude south and greatest elongation on the 5th and the 6th. So, 23 degrees. That's actually might be your best chance to see it then. So it'll be the morning of the 6th. I'm guessing it should be a morning object then. Yes, it is. Yeah. New moon on the 7th. Jupiter near the moon on the 8th. So there's just always full of items like this, which are lovely to see, but I don't know if they're worth mentioning a month in advance. So what else do we have here? Leonids, I see, are at maximum on the 17th of November.
Yep, that's right. And for the variable star observers, you got on the 26th, Myra is at its brightest, if that's of interest. Then the previously mentioned Comet 46P Virtanen is the one I would definitely keep an eye out for. That seems to be really interesting.
Okay, and nothing particularly exciting happening planetary-wise that I can tell. So I guess deep sky objects. What else will be new? I think November Orion should be starting to come into view in the late evening, if I recall correctly.
Yep, and that's always a favorite, I have to say.
I mean, what's there to say, right? M42 is just is gorgeous, and it's if you're photographic, you can have a look for the Horsehead and the Foxfur, which are all in that area along Orion's belt.
And I mean, I enjoy it from my vantage point where I live. It's a bit of a bummer because I'm to the south of and the southeast of Melbourne, and my northern skies where Orion and all the seasonal constellations pop up is a bit light polluted, so a bit sad, unfortunately, but that's what it is.
All right, December then. I see Venus will be near the moon, and that is always a treat on the 3rd.
Yeah.
And then Jupiter and Mercury near the moon on the 6th. Yeah, Mercury will be back in the evening skies in December.
Yep, and on the 15th, you've got the Geminids, which I haven't checked the moon for that one, so so if it's halfway dark, you can have a look for them. And on the 22nd, you have Jupiter and Mercury very close together in the dawn sky. So maybe give that a go as well.
I see that also on the 6th, the December Phoenician meteor shower is at its maximum, which I've never heard of. Have you heard of this one?
No, I have to say. I mean, there are a lot of minor meteor showers, and which means if it's not so publicized, there are maybe 10 or so an hour, and if you're lucky. And but look, by all means, if it's a dark sky and the moon is on your side or not, give it a go.
Also, the Lunar X will be visible on the 16th. I see. Again. So if you missed it, if you missed it in October, try again in December.
Exactly. X marks the spot. That's right. So.
What else? Then, of course, the solstice will be on just after midnight by South African time on the 22nd. So you'll still have it on the 21st when it's supposed to be. Right, well, we don't count anything after that because that's when the next episode will be coming out.
Absolutely, we'll be back and people will be waiting to download the next episode. So
what's well, I guess that's the what's up thing. Was there any, what I can definitely edit that out. Did you have anything? You I believe you had something to talk about with some space missions coming up.
Yes, I mean we can look what just happened this week. Our one of the Soyuz spacecraft on the ISS had a leak, There was a small hole in it, and which obviously always results in great panic on the ISS. And first they thought it was a micrometeorite, but it looks like that actually someone drilled a hole in the spacecraft with it. Obviously someone probably during the production drilled a hole somewhere where it's not supposed to be, and caused a bit of panic on the ISS. So I'm pretty certain somewhere in Russia someone's not going to be very happy.
Oh, they'll probably be executed or sent to the gulag or something. Oh, that...
I'm sure there is some negative outcome for the people involved. And then further on, I mean, I've got a soft spot for spacecraft that go to asteroids because I'm involved with OSIRIS-Rex, but OSIRIS-Rex gets at the moment beaten, if I can say so, by Hayabusa 2, the Japanese spacecraft, which is at asteroid Ryugu, and end of September and early October, they're actually dropping a few little landers on that asteroid, and 2 Japanese ones, and one, I believe, German-French little lander which hop over the surface, so that should be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I was very excited about Hayabusa 2 because I remember Hayabusa 1, which was an amazing story to follow. Everything went wrong, and they managed to limp that thing home, complete the mission. How many years late did it arrive because of the extra steps they had to take just to try and get past the failed engine and failed, was it the reaction wheels? I think everything.
I mean, great engineering outcome in the end, despite failure. So really, really good. And but the second Hayabusa mission, so they didn't choose another name, so I think they trusted themselves. Good one. And they're there, and so far the scans of the surface of the asteroid are great, and I'm really looking forward to these little landers, because what Philae with Rosetta did sort of a bit not deliberately bouncing over the surface of the comet in Philae's case is deliberate at Ryugu, because these little landers have masses built in, which makes the lander hop for a few hundred meters. So that should be interesting, because you don't need much to move on that surface, because the gravity of the body is more than low. I think it's an 80,000th of Earth, so an 80,000th G. So you only have to sneeze and you're off.
And they haven't had any technical faults this time around, have they?
No, goes really, really well, and hence I'm quite excited, because they're not only coming back hopefully with a sample, they also have these landers, and if anything, it's down the track proof of concept if you want to do something else, because if you eventually think of roping an asteroid in and mining it on whatever, you need to know how to move around on the surface on a thing like that. So it's quite tricky, I would say. It's not like good old Bruce Willis in Armageddon. So I think that's a fantastic mission, and obviously followed by OSIRIS-Rex, who successfully acquired its asteroid Bennu in August with its long-range cameras. So they have the target in field. So, and the spacecraft will arrive in December, and so it's busy time for deep space missions. The same like New Horizons. They'll be on New Year's Day at Ultima Thule, our Kuiper Belt object there, and I mean that should be absolutely spectacular when they zip past that one. And over the next probably 2 years, you get the photos back because it takes so long to send them down here.
Yeah. I can't wait for that either, because, I mean, the Pluto results were just so surprising and amazing, and I wonder what is further out there. What's Pluto's going to look like?
Absolutely. I mean, there are many objects like that out there just waiting to be discovered, and so I'm excited for NASA that they decided to first of all keep the mission going and go for a Kuiper Belt object, and who knows what comes after. I wish Alan Stern and the team all the best of luck, that they don't drive it into the Kuiper Belt object, but they are really good with what they do. So and on that note, for everyone out there reading a little bit of astronomy literature, Alan Stern and David Grinspoon, they co-authored a book about the New Horizons mission and the many decades of history behind getting actually to the mission. And the politics, so and also with nice photos in it. So I highly recommend it. So if you can get your hands on it, it's also available as an audiobook, minus pictures from the I believe Audible. So I'm not getting any royalties from Audible, but I know they have it. So. If you prefer to drive to work and listen to something like that, do it. It's good.
Yeah, all right, then, great. It's funny, yeah, I see, guess what's back in the news, since we mentioned Pluto, is this idea of changing it back to a planet. And, it's funny, because on the one hand, I am so over this. I don't care anymore. Pluto doesn't care, Pluto was a planet when New Horizons was launched. Unless I've got my timelines wrong, it stopped being a planet, but the planet, it was still the same fascinating little world. It's still out there. I don't know, it seems like an emotional decision to me. And although the latest arguments, which is not that new, but I believe it's being reiterated and refined a bit, is that we should define a planet based on what a world is rather than where it is, which I find hard to argue against.
I mean, I'm a bit conservative, and I mean, upset's too much, but I thought it was a bit short-sighted to change it into a small, what's the official term, minor planet, I believe.
Yeah, dwarf planet, I believe.
Dwarf planet, yes, and if you look at the history behind it, I mean, it's more politics than anything who did that. And when they voted on it, half of the people who were allowed to vote weren't there. So for me, when I learned my planets, Pluto was a planet, and bollocks, it's still one.
Yeah, no, it's strange. I mean, I've always taken the ground that a planet is what we define it to be. It's a human concept. The physical rocks don't change. So the reason it changed made sense to me. Simply that there was no formal definition. And we have this problem with many things. What exactly is a galaxy? What is an asteroid? Where does something stop being an asteroid and start being a planet? Or stop being a comet, or what have you?
That's exactly what I want to say, because between comet and asteroid, that's very fluid, especially if you look at things like Gerasimenko, where Rosetta was. That's more or less a rock with obviously condensed gases on it, but once the comet has outgassed most of its